Okay, James, what have you found regarding the Safavids?
Okay, so the Savages Empire.
Vid. It's Safavid.
Sorry. Culturally speaking, the Safavid Empire didn't have an emphasized religion and had truly no unique cultural facts. For the political aspects, the Shahs or emperors were always in complete control of the empire with no challenges to their power. And for social aspects, I found it was a rather egalitarian society with women having various useful positions in society.
Wrong, and wrong. You could literally not be any more misinformed if you tried.
Wait, who are you?
I'm the guy that's about to save your grade on this project. You come with me.
Wait, where are you guys even going?
Now, where is I? Alright, buddy, where do you think I'm going? Well, unless your friends back there want to fill the entire project, I'm about to take you on a little journey where I show you who and what the Safavids really were and how the Ottomans influenced their entire existence.
Wait, weren't the Ottomans and Safavids like friendly with one another and were in sort of a trade partnership?
Well, to forget everything you said back at the library, that is completely false. In reality, the Ottomans and the Safavids absolutely loathed each other, mainly because, while they were mainly Islamic, the Ottomans were mostly Sunni, and the Safavids were mostly
But I
Shia.
thought the Safavids had practically no culture.
Well, surprise, surprise, they do, but I'll get to that later. Let's keep going.
So why should I even trust you? I literally just met you. What makes your sources credible?
Well, unlike what you've shown me, I have actual sources.
And what is that supposed to be?
Well, this is a record by the Secretary of the Shah of the Safavid Empire.
And what's so special about it?
Well, sassy pants, it describes the way the Shah went about ruling the empire. More importantly, it gives a perspective from someone who actually experienced the events that you valiantly attempted to summarize so well. You see, this is a first-hand perspective of a ruler, Abbas I, who I will discuss later during his rule between the 1500s and the 1600s. It was written so that way there would be a record of a ruler and his doing for both the people of the time and future generations. Granted, it was probably somewhat biased, considering it was written by a member of an administration that he both ruled over and elected its members. Ergo, you can see some possible issues. But nonetheless, the secretary experienced his rule. As a matter of fact, they did not just experience it, but they literally participated in the facilitation of it.
So we want to keep these kind of things because they're from an actual source and not just assumed afterwards.
Exactly. Hey, you actually got something right. Anyways, back to the document. The welfare of his people was always a prime concern of the Shah, and he was at pains to see that the people enjoyed peace and security, and that oppression from officialdom, the major cause of anxiety on part of the common man, was totally stamped out in his kingdom. Substantial reductions were made in the taxes due to the Divan. First, the tax on flocks of Iraq, amounting to nearly 15,000 toman, was remitted to the people of that province, and the population of Iraq, which is the flourishing heart of Iran and the seat of the government. By this gift was preferred above the other provinces. Second, all the Divan levies were waived for all the Shiites throughout the empire during the month of Ramadan. The total revenues for 1 month, which according to the computation of the Divan officials, amounted some to nearly 20,000 toman, were given to the people of Alms. The object was that they should be free from demands for taxes during this blessed month, which is a time to be devoted to the service and worship of God. That was a mouthful.
Yeah, I can barely feel my pulse.
I know, right? If you were exhilarated for that, why don't I tell you about the other rulers of the Safavid Empire?
Sure.
That's what I thought. Ooh, that looked like it hurt.
What just happened?
Anyways, first we need to begin with a basic understanding of the political hierarchy of the Safavids. There was the Shah, who was an emperor or king for all intents and purposes, the administration of the Shah, the administration of the court, and the Turkic elites, typically warriors and the wealthy. Before we get too far into the details, it is important to understand the origin of the Safavid lineage. The Safavids originated from a family of Shia Muslims and Sufi mystic preachers. Following, the first notable ruler of the Safavids, who technically wasn't a Shah, was Sahl al-Din. The main thing Sahl al-Din did was purify the prevalent religion of the Islam in the region and convert as many Turkic people residing in the region. The successor of Sahl al-Din was Ismaili. Ismaili seized the city of Tabriz in 1501 and was therefore proclaimed as the first Shah of the Safavid Empire. After his coronation, him and his followers would go on to expand Persia all the way to the borders of the Ottoman Empire, where they would battle until a decisive loss at the Battle of Chaldain, which would end their parade of expansion. After the severe loss at the battle and a following series of poor succession, a period of turmoil occurred within the Safavid Empire. In this period, Turkic chiefs began to fight for the throne. The winner of this bout would be Tasmap I, the successor of Tasmap I, Abbas I, or Abbas the Great, who I mentioned earlier, would go on to severely reform the sovereignty in such a way that he would often be looked back as one of the greatest and most influential rulers of the Safavid dynasty, often being considered the bringer of the greatest period of the entire existence of the empire. One of the things he did was regaining control of Turkic warriors and giving them positions to fulfill, and villages and peasant labor along it. Secondly, he would also give them administrative positions. He also implemented education in Persian cities that would allow the imperial bureaucracy to grow. He also implemented Persian citizens into the imperial bureaucracy to balance the system. Another one of his policies, and arguably the most important, was a system of assembling and managing an effective army. Just as the Ottomans did, he implemented young captured slaves into the army, and he converted them into Shia Islam. Then he trained them with firearms. Actually, that right there is probably one of the biggest changes brought about by Abbas the Great regarding the military.
Shia Islam?
No, James, not Shia Islam. That was always a part of the Safavid Empire, as I mentioned earlier. I was alluding to firearms.
Oh.
Anyways, firearms became a fundamental element in the arsenal of the Safavids. You see, at the Battle of Chaldain, they had practically no guns whatsoever, but the Ottomans had a plethora of them. Despite the ingenious battle strategies by Ismail, his army was practically massacred because of the tremendous gap in armor technology that was immensely favored with the Ottomans. It was because of this battle that Abbas I would greatly increase the process of importing and creating firearms and hiring European experts that could train his soldiers in the process of using them. This dramatic updating in arsenal technology is what allowed the Safavid Empire to regain its strength that was lost at the Battle of Chaldain. Then, after the glorious period brought by Abbas I, he removed any heirs that may succeed him, as he did not want any threats to his throne. Therefore, his grandson claimed power after his death of the grandfather. The subsequent issues and outward invasions greatly weakened the sovereignty. Then, Nadir Khan, an adventurer, claimed the throne and became the Shah. However, because of him and his following dynasty, they could not regain the glory of the former empire. Anyways, firearms became a fundamental element in the arsenal of the Safavids. You see, at the Battle of Chaldain, they had practically no guns whatsoever, but the Ottomans had a plethora of them. Despite the ingenious battle strategies by Ismail, his army was practically massacred because of the tremendous gap in armory technology that was immensely favored with the Ottomans. It was because of this battle that Abbas I would greatly increase the process of importing and creating firearms and hiring European experts that could train soldiers in the process of using them. This dramatic updating in arsenal technology is what allowed the Safavid Empire to regain its strength, despite the loss at the Battle of Chaldain. Then, after this glorious period brought by Abbas I, he removed any heirs that may succeed him, as he did not want any threats to the throne. Therefore, his grandson claimed power after his death. The subsequent insufficient ruling by his grandson led to the decline of the empire. Then, after internal issues and outward invasions greatly weakened the sovereignty, Nadir Khan, an adventurer, claimed the throne and became the Shah. But then, he and the following dynasty could not regain the glory of the empire through weak ruling.
So basically, there was a slow struggle for stability and power at the beginning of the Safavid Empire, which then culminated by the ruling of Abbas I. Then it utterly crashed.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, look at that. You're not sounding as uneducated as you did back there. Congrats, bud. You're actually learning something.
Alright, so you've gone through the rulers of the Safavid Empire. What I'm still a little confused about is one of the corrections you made in one of my comments earlier.
Which one? At this point, I've made so many that I've kind of lost track.
When you said the Safavid Empire did actually have a unique culture of their own.
Oh, that one. Yeah, they did have their own independent culture. Well, sort of independent culture.
Well, what was so unique about it?
James, did you just ask me to teach you something? After the way you treated me earlier, a comment like that is something I would have least expected.
Alright, cool it, pal. I just need the information so my group and I can get a good grade on this project. I literally have no idea who we even are.
Alright, sorry. Sometimes I get a little gouch when I get excited about talking history. Moving on. Before we go any further, first we would like to play a message from our sponsors.
Wait, what sponsors?
Are you tired of being a young power slave forced into war by your rulers? Well, I got the deal for you. A modern piece of technology. A musket. You don't want to be this guy. Don't be that idiot. Be smart and bring a musket next time. Or now for the low price of 50 shillings. You too can help feed the eternal and destructive force of war.
Okay. So muskets were a pretty important part of warfare?
Bingo. Now, muskets weren't the only part of the culture of the Safavids. You know, the thing you said earlier that didn't exist. There was also a huge emphasis on religion. As I said before, the Safavids were of the Shia portion of Islam. We see now, looking back on it, that religion was a huge force behind many of the actions of the Safavid Empire. Their religion and other facets of their culture were even reflected in their architecture, with traditional Arabic influences reflected through the entire empire.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, every empire should have a culture.
That right there is one of the most important parts about learning history. It helps us understand the diversity of the people that came before us. It helps us understand the legacy of those who were before us, even after their downfall.
With all due respect, Mr. Strange teacher dude, learning the importance of history is great and all, but I really gotta get back and help finish this project.
Well, you can't possibly pass that project without learning the societal features of the Safavids.
Well, I can't possibly earn my friends back if I totally abandon them on the project, so let's get going.
Alright, you Steers wannabe. The society of the Safavids had a paradigmatic patriarchy. Men were expected to do labor such as farming, construction, and being soldiers. Women, on the other hand, were expected to be housebound to take care of children. They also did not have a say in who they married, as it was predetermined. However, no matter the gender, the life of a peasant was difficult, as noble-class warriors relied on bequeathed land for survival and sustaining their luxurious lives. Along with the noble-class warriors, the Shahs also lived very luxurious lives, as they lived in extravagant palaces and dined with only the finest of foods and spices. The plethora of luxurious lifestyles led to the misery of peasants. Overall, some lives were better than others in the empire.
That's an understatement. Living in the Safavid Empire would totally blow.
Yeah, most past civilizations didn't have the best of lives.
Yeah, I'll say. So anyways, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Now you can go back to your buddies and then tell them all about the Safavids and get a good grade on that project.
Thanks, I guess. So when did you get here?
Like 5 minutes ago.
Where were you?
I just had the realest and lamest experience of my life.
Well, can we just get this project done?
Leave the facts to me. It's like that guy said, I got this all wrong.
Alright, but you better be ready for the presentation as well.
I got this.
So what's so special that you saw?
Hey, what the?
No!